Okay, guys, this is my first time going at this. My first go, I even had trouble trying to get this thing to go live. I had to download a couple of objects and all. I had to make sure my speaker's on over here, so I had to reach over and cut that on. But anyway, basically, I see a lot of videos out there that show people pack hornets. I see a lot of videos out there that show people all different types of car audio aftermarket stereos. I also see videos out there of different type of amps and bass Epicenters and stuff out there for you guys that's trying to hook up. But to the basic young man out there that's got his first vehicle or trying to get his first system hookup, I made this video to give a quote to get those guys that's really down looking at your videos out there trying to get this stuff hooked up. My thing is to make it easy. And I post this up to try to help you guys. All right, they got some cheap, very cheap Epicenters out there. Epicenters, I have trouble pronouncing some words. But anyway, Epicenter are big, basically they're digital bass machines. And what it do is if you one of them cats out there that likes that big bass boom inside your ride, they add this to their amplifiers. And I hear a lot of cats that get out there and say that those cheap Epicenters out there are the product of you get what you pay for. That is true among some things, but some things that is just not so true. You don't have to buy something just because of the name brand. You know, you don't have to go out there and get the big top of the line Epicenter that's got the Epicenter at the top of it because it's a name brand and everybody knows the performing rank of it all. You can get a very cheap Epicenter out there that'll do just the job as the name brand. You know what I'm saying? The biggest problem people have is they say that when they turn the gain up on that Epicenter, that it start making their bass sound horrible. Well, let me tell you your problem with that. First of all, when hooking up the Epicenter, you make sure when you run the wires of your Epicenter hookup that is nowhere near the speaker RCA jacks or any type of speaker wiring that is going through your vehicle. Second of all, note that if you're hooking up an Epicenter, which is a digital or bass or machine enhancer, make sure that you're hooking it up to an amp that does not have a remote gain bass knob. If that amp has a remote bass gain knob on it, you will have to unhook that remote bass gain knob to that amplifier because the bass machine itself, which is the Epicenter, has its own bass control knob to it. Trying to use both of those knobs, trying to have the most power can give you the damaging effect that you hear most people complain about when they turn up the bass knob on the Epicenter and it causes it to have that horrible bass and speakers to fight with the power that is coming through it. You hit the acceleration or whatever. Or when you turn down the stereo, you hear this little streaming noise that's going back and forth through your ears. That could be a defective amp. That can be that you got an amp that has a noise deduction that's very high in frequency ratings. It also can be something very simple as the fact that when you ran your hot and ground remote wire or whatever through the vehicle to wherever you got the amp installed, it could be ran on the same side as your RCA jacks. That is a big no. If you know you got speaker wires going on this side of the car, running up under the carpet or however you run your wire installation, you want to make sure that you does not have that remote or that positive cable coming from the battery, you know, through that side of the vehicle where you have the RCA jack or the speaker wires. That can cause uh, noise inside your vehicle that you refer to as engine noise or the whining, continuous sound. And just as I said, separating that will stop that type of frequency that you hear. Then you have people that say that when they turn their stereo system up, they have a problem with the fact that their highs and tweeters are getting too much bass to those. Well, understand that when picking a amp to run your highs off of, such as your mids and your tweeters or whatnot, you want to get a amp that's not high in pitch when it comes to a very high rating of RMS wattage, because RMS wattage is your true form of wattage that you really want high in volume of ohms when it comes to running big subwoofers. Now, when it comes to your peak wattage and your RMS wattage being low and your peak wattage being kind of high, and you get an amplifier that's not putting out a lot of bass, it's more the type of amp that you are looking for to run your fulls off of, your mids and your tweeters off of. And it's always best to have a separate amp to run your fulls, mids, and tweeters than it is to have hooked to your subwoofers. So you can get a cheap stereo system out there and still get a real nice quality pitch sound with that stereo system. I also hear people coming at me with the fact that they get these cheap stereo decks that comes from Walmart, such as the dual uh, core audio stereo that has the touch screen and all of that or whatever, or they buy on Amazon a lot or eBay a lot the Boss hit unit, and it has what they saying is the SWC, which is your steering wheel control hookups on the back of these decks. And they say, well, we get these, then why do we have to have the packs? Well, you have to have the packs in most cases because the factory SWC hookup to your factory stereo will not input with those key 1 and key 2 wires or the SWC1, SWC2 wire that is on the back of your stereo. So what you will have to do is you will have to get SWC1 pack. And when you get that pack, it would have 2 wires that come from that pack is what is to be hooked up to the SWC and SWC1, but not the way that you think it would. You just can't strip back the little wiring and wire those wires together and assume that that will work your steering wheel controls on your steering wheel. It does not work that simple, but it's as simple as you can expect. You will have to get what we call input, which a male and a female input, and most packs will come with the male input to it, and most jacks will, depending on the type of installation kit that you purchase, will come SWC1 and SWC2 wires of the pack itself, and then the male will wire to the SWC1 and SWC2, or the key 1 and key 2 of the stereo output wires, which is the SWC stereo control hookup that's coming from the back of the unit of the aftermarket stereo. Now, once you hook up these wires to these plugs and plugs these plugs, the male and the female, up, you would then will need to program that pack. That pack will come with installation sheet that will give you the directions on how to program it. Once you program that pack, then you would need to go into the installation directions and programming the SWC output on the stereo itself. Yes, both need to be programmed. You will have to program the pack as well as the aftermarket stereo set up for the SWC to get those functions to work. If you are not programming them both, that will be a big problem as in why your system is not working correctly and communicating with the steering wheel controls on your steering wheel itself. Most people have that problem. They get on and say, well, we hooked up the SWC1 or the key 1 or key 2 or the key A or key B, wire like, or you said, and we still don't have no control over the function on our steering wheel. Well, that's because you probably didn't control the pack. You probably didn't input the controls installations of the pack as well as the installations of the aftermarket stereo itself. Once you follow the directions that the pack sheet come with to program it, then you will have to also go through the directions of your aftermarket stereo and go into the settings and program those settings inside the aftermarket stereo itself. And once you do those settings correctly, you will see, as on most, such as the box. This is an empty box, all right, but I'm just giving you an example. The box would also have a program setting, and it would basically be on the touch screen, and you would touch that deck settings and go into your settings. And once you go into those settings and start programming it, and you get into the program setting where it say touch volume key 1 on the steering wheel, and when you touch it, then it will immediate light up and then go away, and it will let you know that that programming for that setting has been made successfully, and it will continue to do that as well as going through your seek settings and your call powering on and in settings. You will have to continue to do those program settings on the aftermarket deck as well as the program settings on the pack itself. Once these settings are communicating and played with each other, you will find out that everything is quite simple and your steering wheel controls on your steering wheel will work. I hope this video input that I have made may not be the type that everybody's doing, such as showing you the packs and the stereos and walking through steps and fast forwarding and skipping this and skipping that, to you being one of those cats out there that's saying, well, they didn't show how to hook up this wire or what that wire go to. So I'm saying this on a voice recorded video live to let you guys know, and I hope that's the information that I have provided to you give you a peace of mind and make it a lot easy on your stereo installation hookup. If you guys tune into this and you like this and it would help you with your installation, and I would like you guys to, you know, subject and comment or whatever, and any problems you have, comment on and subscribe to this channel and let me know what you need input on or help with, and I'll be gladly to get back with you guys on that and see if I can do what I started out to do, is make it easy. So don't end the game, play the rules, do it right, hook up, get that system that you like, and don't spend the bigger bucks, because not always the bigger bucks is what count. It's your sound, your likes, and what your desire is. Let's go for that live, huh?